right, everybody, here we are with an exciting match. Nightshade, 413 Nightshade versus WVU Mountaineers. These two teams are at the top of a lot of power rankings right now. And we have pre-game interviews. We have a few things to look at before we get going. Very exciting to see these two teams going head-to-head. Mountaineers versus Nightshade. Let's look at our fixtures for the rest of this week that we have some other matchups aside from this game before we get in to what, again, is going to be a very exciting matchup in week 4. 4-3 Catalyst versus 4-3 Riot. That's going to be a good matchup. Riot, the underdogs, looking to prove something, in my opinion. They could do that against Catalyst if they show up and have a big day. Catalyst looking to continue. I know they've won their last game, looking good so far, and they're looking to keep that going. Potatoes versus Ascent. This will be a good matchup. Two teams maybe are a bit lower tier. Potatoes certainly the underdog here. Going to look for. And Bo, the rest of these three matchups here, are you excited to see these? What do you think we're going to see going into these other three matchups, of course, other than the one we have right now?
Honestly, I'm most excited for that middle UAH Charger Blue versus Batted Overwatch. Charger Blue, they've stood out a little bit, but not so much that they've been taking maps off the top teams, not so much that they've been 3-0ing everyone they've come across, but Batted Overwatch is kind of in the same. Not middle of the pack, certainly not. They're higher, but they're putting in work. They're taking some maps. They're putting in some actual like putting some dents into their map differential. They're not going 0-9, unfortunately, such as Potatoes, but they're standing up. They're not on their back feet. They're ready to pounce. I think that's going to be a close match.
Yeah, and then the last matchup, boat name Havoc versus New Haven Varsity. We're going to get a first-hand look at that one because we're going to be playing in that game, boat name.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're obviously a little biased for that matchup, so we'll maybe avoid giving our personal predictions as we go into the standings here. Obviously, Havoc topping it off. Our map differential has helped me and Boat Name and the rest of Havoc be able to hold on to that top spot right now. But competition is absolutely fierce in this league. We have no time to rest, no time to be calm because Nightshade, Mountaineers, and even Batted Overwatch are hot on our heels. Batted Overwatch we just played. They took a map from us and gave us a Route 66 that, frankly, literally made me break my headset. It has since been repaired, but I did actually crack my headset open in that game. So that says something that they're able to get a top team excited like that. Boat name, what do you think looking at these teams, maybe in the top and to the middle of the pack here, what do you think this matchup is going to say for these standings?
Well, Nightshade is 3-0 right now, but their map differential is actually lower than Mountaineers, who's 2-1, which is kind of a statement for Mountaineers. They lost to Havoc in week 1, 3-2, which is the closest you can get. But they want to show that they're not number 3. They don't want to be the only 2-1 that is just like kind of they feel like they're a bit lower than they deserve, which is, top 3, but they want to show Nightshade they deserve that number 2 spot. They're here to take it. And I think they're hungry for it.
And we have going in here to our Rogue Power Rankings, everybody. Just a short moment. We will see our Rogue Power Rankings coming up here soon. All right, our Rogue Power Rankings. Remember, you can use code 413 Esports for 10% off when you pick up your own Rogue Energy. As you saw from the ad, there are plenty of flavors. Speaking of flavors, we got a lot of flavors of Overwatch. These teams, these power rankings have been spicy, hotly debated, forged in the fires. But at the end of the day, these are the power rankings we've come out with. I'm going to start on the top. Havoc and Mountaineers are a fierce top 2 S tier teams. This is exciting. I like these power rankings going into A tier. Boat name. What do you see there? How can this match change that up?
Well, Batted Overwatch put in a real fight against us and on Havoc last week. And honestly, they showed that they're not some middle of the pack B tier team. They pushed themselves up to A tier with that match. And I think that honestly, Nightshade v WVU, WVU has looked so strong. If Nightshade can take maps off, and if they can take this game off, they push themselves up so far. They show that they deserve their spot. But if they can't really keep their feet up, if they really just crumble under WVU, they might drop a tier. They might just show that they're not actually as good as they thought. Maybe they're falling off. Maybe other teams are just catching up to them. They had that early push, but these other teams get what they're doing. They got their strategies. They're not so tricky anymore, and they get pushed out of A tier.
Yeah, as we're still in the early weeks, these power rankings are fragile, ready to be upset at any point. Going into the B tier, we have Catalyst, UAH Chargers Blue. Um, really, this is a star-studded B tier. I think along with the A tier, as I just said, these only 3 weeks in, these power rankings are really subject to change. And the B tier is really exemplified by teams that could absolutely upset these standings going forward in the future. Catalyst and Chargers Blue have both looked really strong, and especially if Nightshade looks strong against WVU tonight, that'll make Chargers Blue look just a little bit more better because they had some maps with Nightshade, if I do recall correctly. And vote name, you want to finish off our bottom 2 tiers here?
Yeah, so I mean, New Haven Varsity and Ascent. I haven't seen enough of them. I want to see more of them. I'm excited to see their matches soon this week. And honestly, as once they go against these higher tier teams, and if they can take maps off, I want to see that. I want to see them move up. I love upsets. They're beautiful. And same with Ride and Potatoes. Potatoes, I need them. I need Potatoes to start putting in the effort. I know they're putting in the effort actually. I need to see the results though. I know they want it. I know they're hungry. I know they're getting discouraged, but I believe in them. I know they take maps off of these teams. They've just had a rough couple first weeks going against the higher tier teams.
And before we go back into our caster predictions, remember that when you pick up your Rogue Energy, you can use code 413 Esports for 10% off your purchase. Make sure you check out Rogue Energy. A lot of exciting flavors you guys saw there in that ad. Going into our caster predictions now. Boat name, this matchup, WVU versus Nightshade. Before I ask you, I'm going to give you my prediction. I think WVU is going to come on out on top. They're a tough team with a lot of talent. I think it's going to be a hard game for Nightshade tonight, Boname. What do you think?
Well, I have to agree. WVU is a higher tier, and Nightshade, I'd love to see them take maps off. I'd love to see them put in work, but I don't think they're going to take the match. I think it's WVU all the way.
And our pre-match interview coming up soon. We have Suspect first from Nightshade to respond a little bit to, frankly, two casters who maybe don't think that his team has a shot tonight. Let's see what Suspect has to say. So we're going to get Suspect in here for this player interview.
Look who it is. It's Suspect, the man of the next couple hours potentially. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. You just cut me off while I was about to tell them we're going to rip out the hearts of Mountaineers here.
Oh, a nice inspirational speech.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
We're coming in
real
full more here. Yeah,
for sure. So, how you feeling about WVU?
So in all honesty, I've got a lot of respect for Mountaineers. I've played them last season. I played them when I was on Hellfire. I've been up against Brave Monk in the main tank duel. They're a really great team and pretty respectful after a match too. So I got a lot of appreciation for them. That said, I kind of getting a little salty that people are sleeping on Nightshade right now. Tier A, that's not gonna fly. When we beat Mountaineers tonight, I want S tiers. Nightshade, 100%.
Oh, S tiers in the chat for Nightshade, who could look to make a huge upset. Boat name. Any more questions before we let Suspect get back with his team here?
Honestly, I feel bad that I cut you off. I need to let you go back. That was a real motivation killer for your team. Go back, give the strongest speech since Independence Day. Go on. I believe in you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much,
Suspect.
We're going to have KO9 from WVU Mountaineers in here shortly to respond. They are the favorites today, but that being said, Nightshade looking to put up an effort. We're going to get KO9 here very shortly. Always an exciting player interview. Hey, how's it going, KO9? We have you here.
Hello.
This player interview, man. How you doing?
I am indeed. What's going on?
Not much is going on. I know that what's about to be going on is a very exciting match between two of the top teams as far as the standings are concerned. How do you guys feel about Nightshade going into this matchup?
We're not too concerned. We're hoping for a quick 3-0 because I got a date with Suspect's mother after this at around at around, let's
Okay.
see, 9 o'clock. So
9
Eastern time.
o'clock.
So I'm hoping for a
better-
quick 3-0. So I gotta catch this date. I'm taking her to. She's a classy girl, so she wants to go to Longhorns.
Well, you better make this quick because otherwise you could be standing up your date, frankly, if this isn't
I
a
know.
3-0.
It's okay. She's real easy. So like it'll be easy to get her back if I miss it.
So, but before we let you go back with your team, we know we got to get you back in there so you can get those guys, all excited and worked up. I know you guys have some, I believe you guys have some newer members to your team this season that you didn't have in season 2. Is that correct?
We have some people that we've kind of subbed out. We have Axis in full time now instead of Wilson, who we kind of had to have him. Bench is not the term because he just had to focus on more on school stuff. And then we also have we have another guy. I'm not even sure if he's in the lobby right now, but he's just kind of like he's gonna probably be on our roster for next season. So he's just kind of watching us to learn
Awesome.
some stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
we have the pretty much same roster in terms of tanks and supports wise. We still have Vertile in full time, and then the main change is just Axis is in full time now instead of Wilson and Axis kind of trading out. So yeah.
Well, excited to see how you guys do. Obviously that role is going to be big for you guys because I know you're solid on all the rest of them. So excited to see how these new players and all these subs can work out for you guys. I'm gonna let you get back with your team, KO9. You have a great
Awesome.
match today.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Thank you, you too. And we're gonna let KO9 get back shortly as we are just getting ready to go into our first map. We're gonna have a short intermission. Don't go anywhere. We're gonna be right back. Make sure you hit that follow button. We'll be right back, everybody, with an exciting match. Mountaineers versus Nightshade coming at you soon. All right, we are going into our map 1 just about here shortly, and we're going into Ilios. These two teams are excited. I know some people are probably nervous right now because, frankly, when you get into these matches, the casters are watching. The nerves can come in, but I know these teams are used to it. We're in week 4 now, so they've had some time to adjust. Let's see who deals with the early nerves better. I speak from personal experience when I say that this first team fight really can sometimes show you which team is feeling those early nerves worse, as maybe they have to get a little warmed up, get a little used to the game. So let's see if one team can get off to a steaming advantage or if we're going to have a little bit of a back and forth on the point. What are you seeing here from the comps boat name early from both teams?
It's a bit creative. This is Ilios Ruins, which is, I think, the most interesting. I mean, all of Ilios maps are pretty interesting, but this one, it leads to ball, and right now I'm seeing a lot of ball, and I'm happy. Monkey Ball, Widow Tracer, Mercy Lucio, very chaotic comp. Very they try to just go for those organized dives while Vertile's gonna pop off onto the rush from the other side on Nightshade, where they're just trying to sprint on a target and just swing them with that Rhinehammer.
Yeah, usually I would want to associate WV with the rush, but they have been very willing to go onto maybe a brawl onto a dive comp that they're on now. They've seen them do this before. They're very comfortable. And KO9 going in Brave Monk, getting the synchronization with their other main tank. You can see these tanks are lined up well. Brave Monk having to use that jump. Twit almost goes off the map. Both tanks having to use their movement abilities to get back. Brave Monk is on the point alone, gets pinned. No, that's KO9 tanking the pin. Suspect is rolling through this point right now, and the Brave Monk's down early. WVU, they've lost the first fight, so Nightshade with just an early upset. They're brawling right through this point right now. Let's see if Brave Monk swaps off to the Rhine. No, he's going to stay on the Monkey right now. Nightshade are clearing off this point.
And this is just a difficult thing. The ball monkey comp is just a much more difficult comp to figure out. They have to choose exactly where they want to fight, exactly where they want to engage, or else this brawl comp just gets way too close. They start attacking their supports. They just get too much advantage, and it's difficult to break through that Rhine. His swings dealing 85 damage more recently. It's brutal.
It is brutal as the Brave Monk now looking for a place to set up, goes onto the point to pressure it. Gonna get some stall out here as the mirror goes up. The Brave Monk is on the point. Twid's getting low, but not low enough. Not low at all, really, in that immortality field. The Brave Monk goes down now. Shatter comes out from Suspect to clear out a Mercy. Some picks are coming through for WVU, but it's not going to be enough at this point. If you're WVU, maybe you're considered switching onto the Brawl, but it's only 50% for Nightshade. They're getting some ultimates now. Either team, this could be scary because the thing is we have ultimates on for both teams, Boatman.
Yeah, honestly, that minefield can just do so much work. Oh, we're seeing some swaps. Vertile off the Widow, wasn't finding success with picks, and Axis off the Tracer onto Pharah. Goes for a quick engage, maybe a bit too early from KO9. He didn't have his DPS in there.
But KO9 did find Scythe, going in with the mines on point, gonna force the Mei to go into that Cryo Nightshade. Having to use that Diva Bomb. Does get Xenofriend, so each team has a pick. It's even on the point, but that Farm Mercy is gonna be hard to deal with when Scythe is coming back. Freeze goes onto the point. From Prism, this DPS lineup for Nightshade is one we talked about. They are coming out big right now. They've seen and found through swaps. And maybe this is their stronger lineup early. Scythe has that High Noon online and Vertile's finding picks, but will it be enough? WVU fighting for their last chance here.
WVU started to get their picks, but honestly, the ults from Nightshade are just a bit too much. Prism's Blizzard on the point. You have to touch it. You have to play with it, but you're frozen. You can't do anything. It's rough. The beat coming in from Xenofriend just to stall it out, just to let the team stagger in. But it's still a team fight. There's a 6v6 going on here.
Yeah, we are going to get a 6v6. The Brave Monk does go down early in it, though. Both tanks were getting back around the same time. Prism finding a pick on the 7-11 and continues to clean up the point afterwards. Now it's Nightshade taking a convincing 100-0 in the first round of Ilios.
That is almost surprising. I think that WVU, based on that interview with KO9, saying they won't sweat it, I don't think they prepared enough. I think they're taking this a bit too lightly. They're trying out some experimental comps because they did not look too comfortable. They didn't really get eliminations until that very end. Towards the end fights, they weren't actually killing anything. So this brawl, Suspect, even with the overly mobile tanks, was able to charge his shatters, was able to get pins, and he just did whatever he wanted, and it worked.
Yeah, and the problem is, you know, if you're Nightshade, obviously you're happy to get that first round in such dominant fashion, but what you are worried about is that if you can't 3-0 WVU, the Suspect's mom's going to be sitting in a diner somewhere all alone with a cold plate of food across from her. Let's see if Nightshade can make this one go fast. They're dominant right now, and I know how it feels. When you can get a map against the former champions, you start getting some adrenaline flowing through your team. You start feeling confident. Nightshade going to use that confidence now going into the point. WVU, though, Vertile dancing around the hole got my perspective a little switched. I thought he fell. The tanks, Roadhog and Ana are getting dove on. They're getting pincered in, and this Roadhog is getting lost right now. Twid on the Roadhog can't help Ana. Brave Monk finds Sadfire down now as WVU. They're winning the first fight. They're making their strong statement now. Nightshade sent reeling. One of the different comps of Ilios well is certainly giving WVU a good stage right now.
Yeah, it's neat to see the Hog, but Hog, even with his little damage buff, it's scary for tanks, but it's not enough to actually kill the tanks. And when you have 4 members diving one person, the Hog hook isn't really enough to save them.
Yeah, Twid finding something to do here, looking for that fire. That could be a big hook, but really just not getting that hook now as Prism is on the Far Mercy. It gets 2 picks for WVU, though. They are coordinating this dive so well. The damage hits at the same time, and they're on a Genji Pharah, and they're rolling with it right now. WVU off to a strong start on the second round of Ilios.
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted to prove me wrong. I said this might be an experimental comp. Maybe it was just the map. Maybe it was just what Nightshade was running. But now that KO9 is getting a bit greedy, but they seem to know what they're doing. They're actually diving. They're diving like Twid on Hog when it's actually optimal. It's insane. They know what they're doing. They know how to dive. They know how to engage. They know how to calm.
And on this point now is Suspect on the Sigma. Monkey goes in along with the ball for WVU. They're going to use these mines. Some are getting caught up in the air, but Sadfire goes down yet again. It's so hard to live for this Ana. As the blade comes out from WVU looking to clean up some more picks. The res comes through in the Ana, but will it be enough? Not looking like a Nightshade struggling, but they have some picks. The Blade is catching some, but maybe not enough. Twid goes into the hole! Oh no, it looked like Nightshade had a chance of this fight, but now with Twid falling to his death, it's going to be hard for them to get this one. It's a 3v2 on point. Scythe getting barrage up in the air. Not all those rockets hitting, but just enough of them for Scythe to go down. Ink Splash does manage to get out, so they're going to get another fight here. If you're Nightshade, you're excited about that, but what you're not excited is how things have been flipped for you. Suspect has this Flux online. Vote name. Is he going to be able to hit it?
I don't even know if it matters if he hits it. Gino Fran has been holding the beat. They need to actually just... Oh, but Prism gets an instant pick off on the far Mercy, giving them numbers advantage. The beat doesn't matter as much just because they already have numbers. Nightshade might actually just be able to take the point if they just keep their positional advantage and keep pressure on each of these WV members.
And this is huge for Nightshade to possibly do what WVU couldn't, and actually finding some percentage on this point could give them an edge. But right now it's looking hard. They have the picks, but the picks are starting to go the way of WVU. We're making this scrappy point fight to their favor. There's a Pharah in the air, uncontested. Mines are on the point. Where does Suspect go? Probably back to those respawns doors soon. KO9 going to make sure that happens. It looked like Nightshade had a chance at a fight there. WVU gets back. Looks like they're going to take a dominant map. So these two teams have flipped back and forth. Neither team knows how to lose a point once they've gotten it. That's for sure.
That's just that defender's advantage. They win the first fight, and they set up. They know how to set up. They know how to actually defend. Attacking's a lot harder. You don't have those positional advantages, and it takes a lot more scouting, a lot more patience to really attack. And I don't think either of these teams are thinking about that. They're not thinking about actually poking or really clearing out what they need to. They're kind of walking in. Twid might get caught out. Sadfire was getting caught out on Ana a lot just from WVU hard engaging onto her. Almost a bit early, but it worked out and they got the pick.
Workout it did. Pick was gotten. Nightshade going back onto the brawl. They tried a bit more of a unique comp, probably because it was well. I gotta say, at the end of the day, Nightshade, they could have stayed on the brawl. It can work on well, especially when they got that 100 with the comp. But makes more sense. Wait until you get back to the brawl map and go for it. Now they have the May McCree. They have this brawl comp. They're getting pinned in the same way before, but does Brave Monk go down again? Brave Monk is out of position. Brave Monk goes down into a brawl yet again on control. Brave Monk gets caught out. It's so hard on that monkey to find the proper positioning into a brawl who just wants to walk on you the second you press your shift button. Axis is in the backline now. There are some members of Nightshade going down. They're going to have to get to the point quickly. Their tank is gone to the point alone. Not alone, I should say. Suspect has the whole team there, but WVU is still finding picks. Nightshade has none right now. They're about to take this point after it looked like it was a lost fight for them.
Yeah,
Nightshade just couldn't clean up.
They had a nice idea with going into an enclosed area. The Pharah Mercy just has a harder time. The Ball has a harder time. The Monkey has a harder time. Brave Monk got caught out in that room. But they went to the side that's not the point. So suddenly they had to walk through all this open area that allowed the Pharah to just rain down her barrages of rockets. The Ball to slam in. Just everyone to get so much more value. Just like right now, they're walking through this open area and they can't really keep everyone alive. If they had just gone to point initially, they might have been able to hold it better. But now they're investing resources on just escaping and just living, not even pushing.
Yeah, once that Pharah starts getting an advantage, it can really be hard to reverse it. The problem is that I think it's hard for Pharah to get that advantage going in the first place. Your team can just get ran on below you. But Axis has done a great job of making sure that doesn't happen. Pumping in damage from the high ground, going for the barrage, getting bubbled to not die. WVU was ready to save their Pharah player there. That's a huge play for them. Going in with the Blade now. Picks are coming through for both teams. Big Shatter comes through. By big, I mean, well, it didn't really hit anything. But clears the high ground enough as Nightshade are going to the point. They almost have the cap. It looks like they should, but apparently there's just a nano percentage that has caused this to not go Nightshade's way. And now the picks yet again come in late for WVU.
It's almost comical how, I don't know how that's not a complete circle, but apparently, oh well. And yeah, that little tiny area, that tiny little choke point that Nightshade had to push through, perfect for a barrage, perfect for a monkey to just jump in and cleave through. And luckily, Nightshade was able to hold some of their ults. They're walking in with Diva Bomb, with Amp Matrix, and they're able to engage with it and try to just come out. Like right now, they're able to take this space, kind of just force WVU to hide.
Axis now going for the backline again, using that barrage to clear them off the high ground, but they're going the point anyways. They do cap this time. There's no micro percentage to stop them as they go in now, finally flipping the point. And we know that Nightshade, once they had the point last time, didn't let it go. WVU done the same thing, though. Now they're finding picks. They're holding the point. The thing this Brawl comp is going to do extra well. The rest comes through, but I don't think it's going to be enough for WVU right now.
Yeah, this Brawl comp on the point, as long as they have the time to heal up with Sadfire there on the map, it's really just almost impossible to break through. Those, what is it, 70 HP now? Those grenades, as long as they're direct hits, it's just way too much to just try to push through. And they're taking up the percentage. And as I'm saying that, Sadfire goes down.
It's so hard to watch this far. Just get picks like that in these. Really, when the fight hasn't started, there's no engagement happening. You just maybe peek a little bit. Ultra being traded on the point. Nightshade looking to get the advantage of it. They have the pick so far, but will they be able to sustain? We've seen them turn it around before, and where the fight was in their favor early, and then it didn't look that way. But WVU now are going to have to back out. They have to find a way to crack open this point. Probably these tanks ults are going to be their best bet. If you're Nightshade, you're in last fight territory every fight here.
If I'm on Nightshade, I'm glad. That terror of the skies is gone. They're now on Tracer McCree. No more worry about the Pharah. But Mines on point is kind of scary. Even though they're instantly cleared off by the Reinhardt. And they're surviving. They're just all low.
Inksplush got launched off the point by the Brave Monk. Not too much you can do about a monkey like that. But now Nightshade's responding. The Shatter comes through and they get some picks. Genofran has Sadfire down though, so can Nightshade hold on? The rest coming through means there are tanks on the point. There's a bomb coming out from Nightshade, not going to catch anything though. KO9 has Scythe down. Can Prism do enough on this Reaper? There's a lot of sustain on the point for Nightshade. They find Brave Monk down, and here comes that Reaper ult just to clear it off. KO9 goes down. Nightshade might be able to do the upset. They had a pretty much reverse sweep after taking the first map. Nightshade does it. They're going to take Ilios. What an upset from Nightshade.
Wow.
Wow.
I was almost looking impossible. That just walking in, trying to attack that first, what is it, lighthouse? That point is brutal. It's so enclosed, and getting Brawl to the point is the hard part. But once they got in there, they were able to bunker down, just stay on the point. The ball, the monkey, they just had a hard time isolating anything, and the Pharah can't shoot in from above because there's a roof.
Yeah, Nightshade.
So suddenly they're getting more value.
Oh. Genius plays from Nightshade. Their mental looked unbreakable there. They couldn't be stopped, and we're going to get to see another example of these teams going at it with those unbreakable mentals after this short intermission. Don't go anywhere. This matchup is one you're not going to want to miss. Don't forget to follow everybody. It looks like Kara9's going to be late to that date. We will be right back. at it again. That first map was ridiculous. Nightshade with the 100-0 in the first round. WVU with the WVU on with a 100-0 on the next round. And as we go into this Numbani map, and it was at the end of the day, WVU looked like they were about to take their second 100-0 when Nightshade basically reverse sweeped it. This was really intense, and it looks like there might be subs for Nightshade coming in as well, as they take that first map from WVU in what was just a pretty big upset at the end of the day. Really surprised, and we saw WVU working on some other comps, working maybe away from the Brawl comp, and it worked for them at times, but at the end of the day, Nightshade on that Brawl really rolled, really surprised us, and while it looked like they were down, their mental stayed strong, and they never gave up throughout a maximum time Ilios. Well, not maximum, I guess. We could add reverses on each map, but, you know, a very long Ilios map at the end of the day. And this Numbani is what's going to make members of Nightshade looking for a sub here. So Nightshade bringing in some subs. They clearly want to play this map a little bit differently, probably less on the Brawl, probably more onto some kind of double bubble, some kind of dive. Probably what we're going to see Nightshade go on to. Curious to see if WVU, they like to run it there. They picked that control map, so they did clearly want to work with that comp. So now going into Numbani, they probably want to keep it going. They probably want to keep some dive rolling. It kind of seems like that's what they've committed to running here today.
Yeah, that Ilios, it was interesting. They had that comp, and it didn't work, and then it worked, and then it almost worked, which is not very telling of how successful they are with the comp. It was very 50-50 on how well they did. They were literally one fight away, all of third map, from taking it, but they just couldn't get there. And now on Numbani, they have an interesting comp. The Monkey still, this time with a Diva, Bap Lucio, which is weird because usually you see that with a Reinhardt. Just be able to pump all your resources in a Reinhardt. But instead they have the Monkey. Instead of an Ana, I don't like it. Honestly, I'm not a fan. I like nanoing Monkey. He gets so much cleave damage. He just does so much.
Yeah, they're playing sort of a Brawl, but with the Monkey, which we've seen happen in the past, where sort of Monkey actually replaces Ryan, and I think WVU seems to think that that's what this patch will do for them. I think this patch coming through maybe has affected the way they play a little bit. Maybe they've changed up their strategy. Vertile goes down early. Do a nice pick there from Heesval, so that Hanzo can be so dangerous when you're trying to match it with a soldier, because he just finds one of those sneaky little headshots you're throwing down. Heesval finds yet another pick. The Brave Monk going down is going to be big, but Axis is finding some picks here. WVU don't want to be let down. They have picks coming through for them. They're making some things happen, but Nightshade is on the point, and they're gaining percentage.
Yeah, honestly, Axis on the high ground. He's still just doing so much. 4 kills right now for Axis. He's kind of putting in all the work for his team. He never got cleared off the high ground, and he was able to just keep headshotting, keep hitting his shots, I mean. And that was almost a fight win for Nightshade that just went south, and they didn't even get a tick for it because WVU was able to stall the point with the Diva and just not give anything up. They win the fight. They get no percentage for Nightshade. Perfect for WVU.
It's hard to clear out that high ground too, especially like you said with this Brawl comp. Nightshade, we've seen them get early success in a fight and then fade out later, and that kind of is compositionally what you might expect to happen sometimes, but it is pretty bad for Nightshade. Hopefully they can find some way to capitalize on these early picks they've been getting, whether it's clearing out a high ground or not, KO9 going out of the Diva mech. Despite their tank going down early, Nightshade looks to have the picks here to clean this. Axis isn't on that high ground this time.
Oh no, Twit's gonna lose the Diva duel because he got remeked on. That's brutal.
Oh, the remake changes, and it looks like with that, Nightshade yet again, despite having the early advantage, they go down here. Suspect looking for a pin, just gonna be able to maybe get out and live. Man, Nightshade is looking like they're winning these fights, but they just can't clear it out. This happened on Ilios before. Hopefully Nightshade does not fall into this pattern. Let's see if they can keep their mental strong like before and break through this point.
I like that they have the dragons. They might be able to clear the high ground with it, or at least just provide some cover for their team. Suspect whiffs the shatter. I don't know what he was aiming at, but they're on the point, and their Suspect's swinging. I don't know what he's hitting, but he's swinging.
Oh, Suspect missing that shatter, not really going for anything in the first place, maybe looking for some of those people on the left, but more picks coming away. For the side of WVU, they did have to use a lot of ults there. Some came out on the side. Nightshade as well, especially with these swaps. They can still clear out the high ground with this dragon, but honestly, at this point, the ults are almost in the favor of WVU.
Yeah, bomb, dragon, but dragon's still being held on to, which is rough. But beat is just the most impactful ultimate on the field right now. They just get to use it and just survive.
Nightshade finally trying to break through this point, but He's False goes down early, and that was your early pick potential last time. And the fact that you couldn't win a fight with the early pick is going to make it hard to win one without it, especially when it goes in the reverse way. Ultimate's coming out for both teams. Twid commits the bomb. Not going to catch anything, as Nightshade just have to die fast and look for one more fight here.
30 seconds left, and I don't know. They're coming up on maybe beat if they can make this fight last an eternity. And they're just going to match amplification matrices. And that blade, he's done so much. It feels like just last fight, Vertile had a blade. Already coming up on another one, 85%. Just a little bit of poke damage, and he's got it.
Yeah, this is really difficult for Nightshade. You only have one fight left, and this brawl comp just struggles on this point. It's really hard, but it's working now. 2 picks early, can Nightshade capitalize? The blade's coming out from WVU. There's the Shatter, gonna at least catch one. Genofran does go down to that, so it looks like Nightshade now capitalizing. They use the beat here, and I gotta say, frankly, it's a slight overcommit of ult, but after losing so many of these fights late, almost nothing would feel like an overcommit for Nightshade right now.
Yeah, I just want to point out, Suspect's a sniper. Like you said, Reinhardt's the best projectile DPS in the game. Amplification Matrix plus the Fire Strike snipes out a 7-11 before he gets to use his own. So they just got a kind of a free fight win as their main heal, as the main heals for WVU went down.
Yeah, that is a true statement. Of course, Ryan having the biggest, one of the most damaging projectile that can also go through shields while he's at it makes Ryan a great projectile DPS, as I've always argued. Suspect now holding. Twid gets cut out. They're going to speed a little bit. Not quite, though. Rust is protection. It's okay for Twid to drop there, so maybe Caster overreacts a little bit. Twid is just fine right now. Protecting their Rhine Gray. Suspect is really feeling the support from Twid. It's going to let them hold this corner. The lamp goes out and goes down immediately, though. Now they don't have lamp. So on the side of WVU, you do have it. This fight is taking a while now. The team really wanting to engage, but it's on the side of WVU where the engage just happened. The remake gets a Lucio, and we got our first remake kill. I think since the patch in this tournament, that was a huge play there. But will it be enough? Nightshade have some picks. Twid is now out of mech, so that's a chance for another remake kill. Twid is looking for this ult charge, but backing out at the same time as Axis is clearing out this point for WVU. Yet again, Axis with a big late fight play.
The new remake change, honestly, I love it. It just adds another layer of depth to D.Va. If you can zone out a team into a tiny little room like on Numbani, and then sneak in with your new remake and just stomp somebody, just absolutely Goomba stomp them. They die. You gotta pick, even though your bomb didn't do anything. So you're using the same ultimate, but getting so much more value.
Yeah, Karen9 has to feel good about that one. The ults are coming out from both teams. Shatter catches Genofran again, but the High Noon is going to have He's False down for Nightshade right now, who are looking to capitalize. The high ground being held, the beat coming out, or the Blossom rather, the Blade on top of that. WVU are rolling this fight. Nightshade has to die quick. It's hard. This high ground right here is really big for WVU, but the ultimates may be coming online here for Nightshade. Could be huge.
Axis is still... Oh, the monkey. I like it because Axis is just a terror. As we've seen before, he is just on high ground, shooting. It doesn't matter that the Genofran beat got canceled by Death Blossom because Axis just shot him. And the beat to engage just so that they can try to push on Axis, but gets booped away. So Axis stays on the high ground, continues to shoot down, and Vertile gets a kind of free pick on Sapphire.
Suspect moved for the high ground, got pooped down, and was able to blow off Fairy Monk, but it might not have been enough. His picks are coming through for WVU. The bomb comes in. Autumn does find a pick here, so that's big for Nightshade, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They got some push here, but not as much as you would maybe like. Suspect going down on the point spells the end of this push for Nightshade. WVU going to look to match. Let's see if they can get more. They're feeling confident, but Nightshade has a strong defense. Let's see if WVU is ready for it.
Honestly, if I'm Nightshade, it's a little discouraging. But it's better than no ticks at all. They were walking into that first point, last fight, barely any time on clock. And, I mean, getting it, 87.3 meters? Not that bad considering they could have had absolutely nothing and they would have been fighting for a draw. Now, they have a potential to win it.
Yeah, if they, like you said, could more focus on that you even got anything in the first place and the fact that you maybe got less than you would like to. Um, and we know Nightshade is probably capable of doing that. Like I said earlier, we saw them keep their mental strong. So hopefully they're looking to sort of prioritize their mental focus here because, like you said, things were looking really dire for them until they got that point. So you're just going to try to be happy with what you got and come out with a strong defense. They're on the brawl right now, whereas WVU is coming out onto the dive. So again, the compositional differences for these teams have been here all day. Nightshade almost always running to the brawl, and always when they found success, WVU exclusively running this sort of dive comp. KO9 has swapped off a little bit as well as their DPS lineup, but they do like running the monkey, and that's what they're working around. I think the recent patches to Ryan, Brave Monk is somebody who would play both Winston and Ryan often. I think the recent patches have sort of pushed him into the Winston direction where he was already maybe leaning. So certainly his team working around that now, and it's good. Monkey, great advantage here. Again, especially after that Ryan patch.
Yeah, and he falls on the junk. Might not actually do that much. KO9 on D.Va just gets to eat up basically everything he tries to do. And as long as Brave Monk can get the resources, it's an easy dive.
Brave Monk's bubble going down quick is what you expect to see with a Junkrat McCree in the fight. So that's one thing you can know. Maybe Brave Monk just gets melted down if you're Nightshade. Brave Monk now going to the high ground. A smart rotation here. Nightshade drops, but they're going to actually find Axis, who's a big player here for WVU. Who's looking for more picks. The suspect's swinging on the point right now. Trying to clean some stuff up. He's false, getting some spam, and the Brave Monk goes down. That's going to spell the end of this attempt, as WVU is going to have to reload and go again here.
And now they get to stagger KO9. Not too much. They're a little, they're merciful, but mostly they're afraid of that remech. It's a bit too scary. Remech, kill someone, fly away, get back to your team, win the fight. It's too much fun for them.
And WVU have to find a way to crack this point. Not going to be easy, given the chokes and the high ground the enemy can hold. But let's see what they try to do here. And KO9 coming up to the high ground now. You're going to look to DM that backline, maybe keep your Ryan from getting too much support, but KO9's getting spammed out. Twid's in the backline, and they got a pincer going on. These tanks are in trouble. KO9 has to go to the high ground as Twid gets out of mech. Twid's demeched, and the beat's on the point for Nightshade. Almost everybody. Oh, Nightshade getting hit by that. The ultimates are coming out both ways. WVU have Brave Monk in, and Axis goes down. Not goes down, finds the pick on the Autumn. Is the Brave Monk is sectioning some people away from the point with that bubble. Twid is coming back into the mech, but only to stall for a short amount of time. Now Twid going down again, and we actually have a DC from Suspect, so possibly a substitute coming in for Nightshade if Suspect isn't back shortly. But that is a pretty good capture. Pretty good capture for WVU. They feel good about it. They are certainly making pace right now.
Yeah, Brave Monk has been getting so much damage off. Like, it's a monkey. He takes a lot of damage, and Junk is scary. But Junkrat just can't really shoot down Monkey like you would expect them to. Like, Monkey's one of the biggest targets. Junk does some of the biggest damage, but Monkey kind of just, I mean, he gets a DM on his face. Suddenly, Junkrat doesn't mean that much to him, and he's able to cleave through, hit every single member of Nightshade, and kind of just clean house. Get all this ult charge kind of free.
And it looks like we might be getting Suspect back possibly, which would be big for Nightshade. Obviously, Red Barrel would be ready and hot to come in. But we're waiting to see exactly what Nightshade plans to do with that. The thing is, WVU have a lot of ultimates on the line, whereas Nightshade have, they have 3, the Tyre, the McCree, the D.Va. Those are going to be big ultimates, but at the end of the day, really, really big ultimates coming up online for WVU. They also just have a few more. They have both support ults online, every DPS ult, and they have that D.Va bomb. Going to make a lot of space as the teams do seem to be ready with Suspect coming back for Nightshade. We're going to get going after that short pause. Here we go. Twid just stalling at the point for a little bit longer. WVU looking to use these ults to roll into the next fight.
Suspect did DC, which does cost him his ult charge, but that's just the troubles that we're living in today with internet difficulties, and we have some on stream, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, you hate to see it. Suspect coming back, though, is going to get to switch off one of the monkey for this streets phase. I think that actually could be big. Maybe the respawn timer is what you actually wanted with that DC. Suspect now is Positioning the way he was running into a wall got me scared. I thought he was DCing again, but he was just getting those footsies and setting up in the proper place. Suspect now ready to go in. They catch the Brave Monk on this high ground. Everybody's diving in. The monkey bubbles are out, and there comes the tire from Peaceful. It's going to catch 3 before the beat even gets a chance to come out. From WVU, looks like Nightshade's going to roll into this fight right now with a win.
Yeah, GNF ran maybe with a little bit of a late react, or maybe just didn't think that the tire was going to be that big a problem. Suddenly, it gets 3. Beat doesn't matter anymore when you're down 3 and already backing up. But still, WVU has so many ults. Blade, Bomb, almost even Primal versus Nightshade. They're going to be able to take some space, I hope.
Yeah, they have ults, and they're using those ults to take space. You'd like maybe Mirror and High Noon to take space at different times, but it certainly clears it out. As it is now WVU coming in with those ultimates. You like the way the last fight went with that tire, but the old rotations were maybe only a little in your favor, as now you've had to commit a lot. WVU have the ultimates coming out online. Diva Bomb isn't going to catch anything. Suspect does catch one on the way out. Not going to even be able to get to respawn, though, which is unfortunate because Nightshade, I don't know if they have enough time to touch here. It looks like this is going to be WVU's map.
Yeah, they have to come back insanely quickly. Suspect doesn't swap the ball, which means that it's basically down to East balls to touch, but can't.
Yeah, they
It's hard to
didn't have
gauge that.
time.
Numbani's a
Yeah.
tough match to gauge with that second point. That street phase. That respawns so much further away than you think. You think you have enough time to touch. It looks like you have enough time to touch, but you have to walk like half a mile
So
just to reach
far.
it.
Yeah, it is unforgivably far to try to come back after you've lost that fight. Therefore, it's going to be WVU taking our second map in a pretty big way. They looked really strong there, and they looked to kind of maybe be shaking out the sillies that caught them a little bit. Nightshade had a very strong Ilios, though. That is nothing to scoff at. Giving Mountaineers a little bit of a struggle. Make sure you guys remember to follow so you can catch these matches when they're going up. We're going to have a short intermission as we come back for an exciting map 3 between 2 teams that are hungry right now. You don't want to go anywhere. All right, we're back. It's a map 4, and we are excited. These two teams so far have been heated. This says a lot for our standings that Nightshade is able to make this a 1-1 so far. Nightshade in that A tier, right below WVU. Maybe this is sort of expected right now that it's a 1-1. It's a close game. Nightshade looking to make some upsets in the power rankings. Meanwhile, WVU are looking to frankly hold on to their spot. They're having a tough game right now, and they take a strong map, so they're looking to roll into it, and that's why they're going to be going to Havana right now, which gives them some confidence. I think what we've seen from WVU so far is that they obviously are favored on a map like this, where other than Control, where you can play sort of with a more of a plan in mind, right? On defense, you get to set up. On attack, you know the route you're running in at. When things break out on Control, it's very much based on where you find the enemy team position and where you find yourself. It's a bit more fluid and a bit more open for some things to happen. So I think WVU personally has the advantage going into this map. Currently, it seems like they have some unique comps coming out, but I've been baited. I think 7-Eleven's going to swap. That's a support player. So clearly I was wrong as we're waiting for these teams to get in here. We're going in. Again, Havana, I think it's a good pick for WVU. I think they have the advantage here, Bonin.
Initiating match.
So now we'll get an actual look at these teams' comps here as the match is started. I think WVU are probably going to look for sniper comps here, Boatname. I think they're going to have something prickly, something that you really don't want to peek, Boatname. What do you think WVU is going to run, and how do you think Nightshade might respond?
We already saw a little bit of Widow from that Ilios ruins. It didn't work out that well, but Havana's a completely different map. It's a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But already, what the heck? This is Sniper's Paradise, most open map in the game. Oh no, we're gonna run Brawl. We're gonna close hold.
Well, I will say though, this has been pretty commonly almost the meta lately. This is WVU doing what I think we've seen a lot in Overwatch League contenders at really all levels of play. This close hold on a hard brawl has actually been pretty common on Havana, even a little bit more so than those sniper comps I brought up.
Yeah, I mean the close hold is very brutal if they can, choke it out. If Nightshade's able to just slip out some side doors and get some angles, they might be able to just completely deconstruct it. And they already know that it's coming, so they can prepare accordingly.
Yeah, they even tried to have 7-Eleven bait from far away. They used the Maywall to just stall for time and make this hold longer. Twid goes out the other way. Vertile's pinched in right now. Has to use that fade to get out, but the lamp comes out for Nightshade. That could be big. WVU forcing out that lamp early, and 7-Eleven going down. On the side of WVU, Nightshade are looking to make this first fight a quick one. They have a pick early and another one to follow, but Autumn is down. Prism is down. No damage left on the side of Nightshade. Can they still win this fight? When I say no damage, that's certainly not including this Reinhardt character. That guy's got a lot to swing at, and he's going to give it to you if you want to play on his point, Gino Fran. You're going to go down, and WVU are going to get sent back, though. They do take that hold. They get some time, and they're going to get the second fight they wanted here.
But they are swapping a lot. Soldier, Kree, Ana now. No more BAP. Interesting swaps that, double hit screen is very strong for Havana. Like we said, open map. But they have to get set up on high ground for that to really take effect.
Yeah, that early ult charge unfortunately going to waste. Blocked Shatter by Brave Monk. Suspect went in. Wasn't able to catch Brave Monk by surprise now. So Brave Monk's going to look to get his Shatter on rotation. Axis finds an early pick, and the tanks are down right now for Nightshade. Axis is just rolling through. Yeah, Axis has had a stunning game.
His Soldier's looking a bit better than I expected Soldier to look in what? How long has it been since Soldier has, actually been played? Like 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Was he ever meta? Frankly, was it a blur? Did we all make that up in our memory that he was ever even meta in the first place? I don't know. Nightshade coming through this left restaurant here, going on to the point. Brave Monk is forced to back up, but he's got you in his sights. Vertile's in the backline, and you're pinched in. Brave Monk goes for a shatter. The results, and the Brave Monk going down. Vertile does catch one with that Soldier ultimate and actually catches the Nano here. So Vertile's coming back to try to clean up Suspect, who's slept way ahead of their team. Twid comes in to save Suspect, coming back. Base has been made, and now you got to hold it. The High Noon's coming through off of that space Suspect made after going down. Autumn. Huge High Noon. Huge, what looks to be an early cap here for Nightshade. After a good, nice time bank hold, you'll take that hold if you're WVU.
Vertile just went an entire around the world, from high ground to behind the point to all the way in his backline, back to spawn. And WVU is coming out with ults to contest this because Twid he wasn't in mech. He couldn't eat that high noon. He couldn't eat any of this soldier damage. He's demeched again.
Prism has gone in. That looked like a hero ultimate, but at the end of the day, it catches all you need. WVU is going down. They have to use the nano. The Shatter's not online. The Brave Monk's getting targeted. Twid is low and going down, but it won't be enough for WVU, who have been clapped. They've gotten this point capped for them, but it's a really good hold for WVU. They're making decent time on defense, but you'd obviously like it to be a lot better. Huge ult by Prism there as well.
7-11 did so much. 2 fights in a row, pretty much, a nano. And kind of was able to just survive. Never died. Just lived in his own backline the whole time until eventually, you know, double damage fire strike from Suspect. It's enough to take him out. It's enough to take out any squishy. 200 HP is just not enough to live it.
Nightshade is not to be rolled over. They show that despite being the underdogs today, they're making a really impressive push right now, and we're 1-1. This is either team's game. An early pin doesn't get anything. Axis catches Prism down. The anti is on Twid, who has to back out a little bit, but Vertile has this soldier ultimate that's going to catch Ink Splash out. It's so hard to get away when that soldier's got you in his sights. Where are you going to go? You're just going to go back to the respawn doors if you're Nightshade.
Yeah, Nightshade was very focused on that choke point up on that high ground, but they didn't catch it fast enough. WVU played smart. They played slowly and just allowed Axis and Vertile to flank. And they got very far on the flank, allowed to just slide by Suspect shield and get the damage and get the picks and the kills.
And that Diva Matrix from Twid is going to catch a little bit of that early spam from WVU. They're just trying to build ultimates right now as both teams have a lot online. It's going to be hard to tell who has the advantage. Ink Splash with the early beat. Nightshade is taking the initiative, but their beat is coming out. The hammers come out from each Rhine, neither catching anything though. These Rhines have kept each other honest today. As the picks are coming out, we're trading for both teams. Prism goes down to Axis after finding one, and the high noon from Autumn could be big here. They're speeding Brave Monk back. They've all got to hide because there's a high noon on the loose from Autumn. And Suspect and Twid use this really good time to take the space and come in and swing on some members of WVU. The Diva Bombs trade out a little bit here. But I gotta say, that's slightly better if your Nightshade Axis goes down, though. Or, again, I've said that. Prism goes down to Axis and finds yet another pick in one of these late fights. Cuddles, the new player to Nightshade, finds a pick here in this fight. But Axis has just been showing up. All these fights that look like they're won by Nightshade have gone the way of Axis and WVU, and it looks like we're having another one going just that way.
Axis and Vertile have been best friends on the flank, just gunning down whatever they want. And not really being contested. The one time that Prism went to go in during that fight, he just got flash fanned. It didn't matter. He's a Reaper, but he couldn't react fast enough because Axis just knew. And they were able to just keep poking, just keep prodding, and get the picks, get the damage. And they both have their ults, which are just brutal. The high noon zones out or maybe just kills everyone, gets the win. And just Visor, come on, it's auto aim. How could you not love it?
We're going to see both Rhines probably having Shatter online, but it's these DPS ultimates that'll probably open up this fight at the end of the day. 7-11 getting this nano online gets big too, but there's the mirror early from Nightshade. We're going to use this lane. Prism goes in with the ult, but gets caught out. Prism gets eaten alive. Suspect goes in with a big pin. Big Shatter. Gino friends down. That's a huge play by Suspect, who just continues to find members in the kill feed. Vertile, though, has a response. These sights from Vertile are going to catch two, but not before Autumn comes in and just cleans it up. Nightshade, with only a little bit of time left, are going to maybe just have one more fight here. They can push WVU off and get this point. That'll be big for Nightshade.
Brave Monk with Shatter, KO9 with Bomb, and Gina Fran can charge B if they make this last long enough. And they're coming in as 6, free contest in overtime, which is just absolutely brutal for these attackers.
Shatter comes out, gets blocked. The anti early catches Axis going down. Twid's out of mech, so both teams have a slight advantage. The beats are coming out, the bombs there. Vertile catches Autumn, who is going to be a big pick here for WVU. Nightshade has to look to finish this off, but Brave Monk is surrounded right now, and he has no help. He's staying alive. The Shatter comes out to finally finish him off as the anti. It's a lot of members of Nightshade. They are going to finally capture this point in overtime, but they're going into the hardest point now. WVU certainly has a strategy ready to try to hold Nightshade.
I was a little confused there. Ink Splash and Genofran both use their beats at the same time, so the voice line at the exact same time. It's like if you're fighting a clone of yourself and you're just hitting each other's fists with every punch. It's beautiful. You're seeing a little bit of that between Suspect and Brave Monk too. And honestly, I love the mirror matches. It's just a little bit more of who's actually more coordinated on these teams.
I believe it was Contenders. There was a frame perfect shatter mirror that traded out between the two rounds. We're seeing a similar thing play out between these beats. Suspect is anti now though, and Prism goes down as Nightshade has to give up space and wait for the respawns online. WVU has this sniper. Axis is deadly from this Widow position. They're anywhere near the success they had on the McCree.
Yeah, and honestly, this Widow, how do you even contest her? You need Twid. And Twid just has a hard time getting up there because it's just so far. He takes too much poke, but Brave Monk is able to get pressured up by the bomb and the High Noon. But they never cleared out Vertile. And the Nano Visor raining down from above.
Prism has a second pick though. Prism making a big impact on this pick. They're still not able to clear Vertile off the high ground. Is Vertile going to get away here? No, Vertile does go down for that one. You had to expect it eventually. There goes the bomb from KO9. Doesn't catch anything quite yet. KO9's going to go back into that mech and look to do something now as Nightshade is rolling into this point. After a really impressive push, they picked apart WVU, and now they have ultimates online to finish it off. Brave Monk has a shatter. The Suspect, no, he has it. He's holding his shield, but Prism goes down, and there's the shatter from the Brave Monk. Catches the enemy tank line. They're antied as well on top of it, and Nightshade are falling apart right now. They probably don't have the sustainability. The spawns are on the side of WVU. Vertile finds a pick. Now Vertile on the McCree, making a big statement, and WVU going to stop Nightshade just short of that third point, but they still got to go the whole way. This map is not over yet.
Yeah, this was just, I mean, Nightshade every single time in overtime. Last fight, last chance, pushing it in. I was expecting it on third, but you know, third of Havana. It's brutal. You have to. It's even further than Numandi, I think. I'm not gonna. Don't quote me on that. But I think that the respawn, it feels further, just because it's usually when you're in this final area of it, it's overtime, and you just feel like you have to get there, and if you don't get there, you lose. It's just that ticking time of the clock. It's brutal.
And not only is it brutally long, it's just brutally open for those sniper lines. The smallest peak can get punished, and that's why you think maybe the Reaper might have struggled, but Prism found a really good position to be able to pinch the Brave Monk in with that pressure, and that's really what allowed them to get so much of that push. Really good plays by Prism there. We saw an ultimate come out on that first point that was huge from Prism. We saw them get caught on second point, but Prism really making enough plays, I think, to propel their team into that 2-point capture and going on to the third one. So WVU are going to look to have some kind of momentum to respond there on the Brawl comp, and we really haven't seen them pull it out yet today. So, or at least we had, they had it earlier. But on attack, I want to see what they can get done as Nightshade is going to have this close hold. We're going to see Brawl v Brawl going at it right now. We're almost mirrored, but it's the May and the Hanzo that are the difference at the end of the day. And even the Baptiste and Honor are different, actually. As Nightshade go in, they catch a few members of WVU walled off. It does not look good for WVU. Brave Monk goes down, and Nightshade with the close hold have won the first fight. That's really all you need. If you can just get one fight, that's huge. So let's see if Nightshade can get a second one here.
Vertile swaps onto the far, which, as we've seen, now with a Mercy Pocket, exactly what you want to see. He's able to just rain down terror, and if Autumn can't hit his shots, Vertile's going to get too much value. And right now, Suspect anti, any shot kills him, and just like that, Brave Monk's able to run into him. Couldn't get the lamp down in time because it was on cooldown from that first fight. And once you lose one, even two picks, it's just completely over. It's done. The close hold, you can't get there fast enough. You're just trying to stall it out, trying to get ult charge. And I mean, they're stalling that reasonably well, but
yeah, they do get some stall. Twid finds a pick there. Not going to mean much in the grand scheme of things, but it will get Twid a little bit closer to that ultimate. It could be huge. We've seen these Demon Bombs at the very least catching a lot of space from the enemy teams, and that can be massive. It adds up. As some ultimates are online for both teams now, WVU, though, they have the advantage here with these ultimates.
Yeah, Nano Barrage coming up. Vertile's already almost up Barrage. He's just getting so much area effect damage. And if Twid doesn't have his defense matrix ready, that's just going to be able to kill 1, 2, maybe even half of Nightshade.
Nightshade going in with the mirror here, but they have to back off past it. Shatter gets blocked from the Brave Monk, though, as Fertile throwing in that barrage, as you pointed out, gets 2. Autumn catches 1 in response. Fertile, so therefore going down. Nightshade, though, they're probably not going to be able to get another fight here either. They made an impressive hold, though, so they're feeling okay right now going into the second point.
Yeah, I mean, they had. I mean, Nightshade had to really stay on point. They did, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get this recontest. And if they do, it's kind of going to be a little bit of a need. They're not going to get a real fight. Suspect just goes in, he gets gunned down. Twid goes in. It's just one by one, siphoning in. It's like all the fighting movies. You see one guy coming in, one after another, gets beaten up by the main character who's just 10 times stronger. It's hardly fair.
Of course, everybody knows if you have an entire army of men facing down the main character, you must approach him one by one and take on honorable duels, 1,000 at a time until your whole army is gone. So yeah, Nightshade, they have to trickle in because they decided they wanted that touch and they wanted to stall the clock, but they go down and they don't get a strong fight as a result of it. So ultimates are going to start building up for WVU because of that. But that being said, Nightshade, no slouch right now. They got a lot of ultimates online and see if they have a fight plan to use them. Big! The Shatter catches 3. Brave Monk maybe got Shatter, but he drops. The Suspect goes down trying to follow up. The Bomb catches Ink Splash now. A fight turnaround after the early Shatter from Nightshade. WVU rolling to this point right now. More ultimates coming online from Nightshade. We're going on to a Sigma. And what's Twid gonna go on to? A Sigma?
I assume the Hog, because Suspect had just been. Oh, he's gonna stay Diva. I think he wants to use his bomb. Nope, he's going Hog. He's gonna be a little bit late. They're gonna have to wait a second. They can set up. They have time. But again,
time here, they have the
barrage.
ultimate shooting as well. That barrage will be huge and even harder to contest against with no shield. The Ink Splash goes down early and Twid gets just barely able to touch. And with that, WVU have a time bank. They're going into this third point ahead of pace. Nightshade right now. This could be big for them. WVU have the time. They have the ults coming up, but Nightshade still haven't managed to use these ults in maybe 2 or 3 team fights. There goes the barrage, catching one member of Nightshade. Genofriend goes down though, so maybe this fight isn't over. Nightshade might look to take this.
Fertile almost gets rocked off the cliff. He
Whoa,
still ends up joining his Genofran, his Mercy pocket, but the Solo Barrage on his Prism would have worked if they were able to get out of there, because those hit scans, it's just too much for a solo Mercy to handle. And so they swap off, they go to Widow, they want to take advantage of this open space.
The visor from Prism is huge there, catching one, and Vertile just sort of, after getting knocked out early, wasn't able to recover with enough booster to actually really make it back onto the map. Vertile falls off as a result. Twin and Suspect holding the front line right now that's sure to crack with Orion coming right into him. The anti hits big as he comes in. That's going to heal up some members of Nightshade as well as antiing the tanks of WVU. Brave Monk, hard. You're going to be hard pressed to make this space right now. Twid's coming in and Prism has found KO9 completely out of mech and back to the respawn doors. Big Shatter from Brave Monk. Could look to turn this around, but it's going to be hard. This comp is so sustainable. How do you bust it down, Boat Name?
I don't know. I mean, Nightshade, they just have this corner, and WVU has to walk through the most open area of maybe any map in the game. It's just such long sight lines. The Hog, he gets a free hook. KO9 was half a mile away, but there's nothing to defend him except for that tower, but he can't get around it in time. He gets hooked into the most open area. He can't escape. It's over for him. And now Twid's looking to get a little cheeky. Maybe a hook onto Brave Monk. Maybe solo ult him. And try to just get an early pick off that wins him the fight.
They don't know. There goes the hook, and 7-Eleven's down to Twid early. The Flux comes out, and the High Noon catches one, but they're committing ultimates. Nightshade here using everything they got. Holding this point now with what is so far just a bugger of a comp for WVU to figure out right now.
Yeah, maybe a bit too much committing. The Hog ult plus the Nano is powerful, but maybe they didn't need it when they already used the High Noon with the Flux. And Twid almost gets caught up by Genofran, but just takes him out in return. He did not get booped, so Genofran just gets hooked. Twid,
wow.
Beautiful hook, beautiful aim. And now they're just able to wait. Chill.
Twid has been brutalizing WVU for this point right now. It's been great, and Twid, considering the flank, but obviously this time you'll probably get caught out as last time even WVU were aware of it. Brave Monk with the nano now going into the enemy team. Nightshade having to retreat here. The beat and the bomb come out. Ink Splash just barely getting around the corner. That's a huge play as Twid finds a pick on these anti-tanks who are going down now. Twid finds themselves down as well, though. Axis has 2 picks now on the Sombra. Axis showing some versatility as Prism goes off the map. Nightshade's going to have to regroup. But yet again, they don't really have time for a full retouch here.
Yeah, the bombs that everyone scattered, and that was final fight territory, which it's hard to tell. These maps are just very brutal to think and just read the timer and read how much further the car actually has to go. You think you have time for maybe a full second fight, but right now they're forced to trickle in and just stall and hope and pray that Autumn's high noon.
Oh, they don't get there in time. So close as they had a touch and a pick. Nightshade yet again finds themselves on the unfortunate side of not being able to full cap a point, because once you lose that last fight, they just get so much free space if you're not at the right spot. WVU, they're up 2-1 right now. Strong statement from them as they're looking to finish this off. We're going to be going into Nightshade's map pick. Make sure you guys follow to catch these matches going live. We'll just be a short 3 minutes after this amazing play of the game that we just got to see there. Going into the next map shortly. You guys don't want to go anywhere. Coming right back at you, going into Hanamura. I'm excited because this could be the end, frankly. Nightshade is backed up against the wall, and when someone's backed up against the wall, they start pulling out all the stops. They start biting, kicking and scratching, and that's what we're going to see Nightshade do here most likely. They're going to pull out everything they've got. They're going to give it their all because they want this win, and they, at the very least, want to get one more map and make the map differential go their way, but you know, obviously, at the end of the day, Nightshade wants this win, and they're going to come hard for it. WVU is going to defend just as hard, just as valiantly. Let's see how these two teams match up right now. I expect probably some brawl comps, but we could see some variation for maybe the defending team.
I'm a little surprised. I've heard from a friend or two that Hanamura is kind of a Pharah paradise. You have such a high ceiling, and in this first point, you have these gates with these very open holes that you're able to just fly through casually and then poke down. And then you have the pagoda that you're able to stand on that most characters can't get up to. So you're able to just take refuge there and live. But Prism, who we've seen on the Pharah, and even WVU isn't running a Pharah, even though we've seen that they love it. They just think that they have a better brawl comp than poke comp here.
Yeah, clearly, like you said, if they're not running that far, WVU must be committed to what they're running, and they must believe in it. Because, like you said, it's pretty good on this map, and we know for a fact Fertile likes to run it. Nightshade now coming in. It's actually Suspects with... Okay, swapping back now from the Rhine of the Hog to the Rhine as they're coming onto this brawl comp, pushing into this point. Early on, Prism almost gets poked out, gets away, though never quite gets discovered by KO9 there, as now they're going in. Nightshade's looking to take the space, but they're standing around at the choke just a little bit. Suspect kind of freezing up there, trying to take the space, make sure they got the whole team there, as Twid goes down to that Hanzo. You're out of your mech now, and you got to try to get it back, but it's not going to be easy. You don't have your Matrix, and now you're losing members rapidly as Nightshade's starting to lose some picks here. But that being said, optimistically, they're building up to some ultimates. Axis already has that high noon.
Yeah, that fight, I mean, I like their strategy, get Prism in there, get him to scout, but then they kind of forgot that he had to go back and swap, and Nightshade started pushing in, and Prism was in spawn. He just changed. So they were pushed through all this open area, got poked out, died, and then Prism showed up. So it kind of was just a 5v6, obviously not in their favor.
Nightshade going in now again, very coordinated. They throw out the lamp to keep their team alive, but Axis was hiding behind that Maywall. Prism's Maywall made great cover for Axis, who makes yet another huge play tonight for WVU.
Squid maybe forgot, maybe thought that the wall was enough, but when you're D.Va, you can't just let the high noon go. I don't even think the wall lasts long enough for high noon to block it. So I don't know why Twid wasn't staring him down, watching him, keeping DM on him, because that high noon was just basically a 5k.
Autumn going down early to Vertile is huge right now for WVU. They need that pick to stall out time and keep Nightshade back because, well, frankly, a lot of ultimates are online for WVU. It's kind of scary for Nightshade here to try to break through this point. See if they can use this Grab Dragon and such. If WVU can rotate their ultimates well, this will be a hard point to break for Nightshade. Oh, this choke is just so hard to get through. Now going in as Suspect. The shatter from the Brave Monk after blocking Suspects catches everybody. They were already, though, in a Grab Dragon, so they do go down with a lot of ultimates coming out from WVU. So maybe if you're Nightshade, you're just a little optimistic. You're looking out for that Nano from 7-Eleven next fight. Maybe Ink Splash's beak. Look to curve it just a little bit.
Air9's feeling himself. He just did like maybe 5-10 second long emote. So he's glad. He get a massive grab, got an anti on it, got a shatter on it, got a grab, got some dragons on it too, and won them an easy fight. But
Vertile losing the Shimada brothers duel, going down to Prism on that Genji who had the advantage going into that duel. Axis now finds yet another pick. 2 down for Nightshade to Axis and make it a third. Axis is just dominating right now. This guy is playing out of his mind.
maybe Nightshade came into this entire match thinking about Brave Monk, thinking about KO9, and they're just staring down the front line. Maybe even staring down 7-Eleven and Geno Fran, but they're forgetting about Axis and Vertile, who's just on some flanks. They kill Vertile, sure, but Axis still exists. He's still on that flank. He never left. He's been doing it all match, and he's been getting these flanks, these poke outs, and it's just working. He gets a flash fan completely for free every time.
Autumn now coming in with a high noon, looking to counter Axis. Can Nightshade break through this point? They have the ultimates, but Suspect is anti. There goes the D.Va Bomb and Axis. Axis is down to Autumn. That's a huge pick, but Suspect pins off the map. Oh no! Suspect probably. Oh, Suspect. I know that Suspect's stomach just sunk. Their heart is in the bottom of their chest right now. That's an unfortunate pin that catches you off the map as WVU is going to look to hold this. Autumn finding some picks coming through. The Brave Monk cleaning up this point. That's going to be WVU making a stronghold.
And you don't want to be Nightshade. I'm sorry. You don't want to be Nightshade here. It makes you feel bad. It makes you completely lose faith. You have to have that yes man to say, oh, don't worry, we got this hold. Easy draw. But then after the draw, you have to win 2 more maps. And that's just, and I know that Nightshade is thinking about that. I know they're thinking about, even if we win this, even if we're able to hold them, we still have to keep going. And we can't drop a map. And they can't even drop a tick here. Which is just, like, what do? You have to keep your spirits up. And you have to have a perfect hold for 4 whole minutes against WVU, a very strong team that probably can figure out that if they just hold their ultimates, they'll win an easy single fight to take it.
Yeah, this could be absolutely massive for WVU. Obviously, all they have to do is just get, I believe, even the first tick here on Hanamura, which we know can be challenging. If you remember Havoc specifically, with maybe not the same amount of time bank WVU is going to have here, but in an overtime fight, we struggled to get that first point. It can be really hard, just getting that first tick even. So we saw Nightshade struggle with it. Let's see if their defense is going to put up a strong hold here against WVU.
Talk about strong. I think about Bastion comps for sure. Every time I think about strong. Bastion Sim, I've seen them do this. It always feels like they're trolling. Maybe they've practiced it enough that they know how to make this Bastion work. He's able to go through the TPs as long as they're up, and that just gives him way more mobility than you would think a Bastion has.
Oh, and there's the TP from WVU going over the top and around. They're going to get the Maywall out. Prism is walled off, though. Prism going down is huge as KO9 is going to roll through this point. Going to be a hard hold for Nightshade. WVU is taking their time, getting their cooldowns back, and I think they've just made their statement here. I think they've 3-1'd Nightshade. Great play from WVU and great play from Nightshade. But at the end of the day, this series goes to WVU. Strong statement from them here.
Honestly, I think the stronger statement is Nightshade, who took a
okay.
map.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a rough time on things that weren't capture objective, King of the Hill, but like, they just couldn't deal with Axis. I'm sorry, they weren't paying attention to these flanks.
Yeah, Axis was brutal all day long for WVU, just really holding Nightshade at every opportunity. And yeah, you made a point, Nightshade looking strong there, taking the map, but obviously Nightshade wasn't looking to just get a map. Obviously, they were looking to get the whole series. So going down here, you never like to see it, but they're going to be a stronger team for it. And for getting that map, bold name, we have an MVP here, I believe. And I think it's a little bit obvious that Axis just dominated this game, mostly from that McCree role, but from the DPS role overall.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about what teams struggle with, I mean, like focusing frontline is a bit too much, but Axis knows when to flank, how to flank, and he just always got value. Even when he got caught out, it forced all of Nightshade to kind of look at him and take care of him, and they just struggled with it. And they didn't know when to back up, when to go forward, because Axis was always so scary and hidden.
And we're going to be getting Axis in here shortly for that very, very well-deserved player interview. Axis playing just stunning. I mean, I was looking at this person's profile because they just surprised me being one of these players coming in. WVU mentioned Vertile being the mainstay, Axis being a bit newer. You wouldn't know it. You would think Axis was the legend for a long time here, and here is Axis. You played a stunning game, and what really impressed me is that WVU has a star-studded lineup. You guys are a great team, and on any given day, anyone on this team could come out and get that MVP role. Axis, you're a newer member on this team. I know you've been swapping with somebody else. So that being said, it was even more surprising to see you absolutely dominate this game, my guy. How's it feel right now?
It feels pretty good. I mean, I think overall as a whole team, we played wonderful. My teammates enabled me to play like at my absolute peak. It felt really good. I'm feeling great.
You should feel great. I mean, I was surprised. Like I said, this WVU lineup has been around for seasons, and you stepped in here and even looked greater than these players who, as you said, were obviously able to enable you so well. No doubt that you wouldn't have been able to do the great things you did today if it wasn't for your team popping off. But that being said, you got to give yourself some credit. You did great. Those high noons were everywhere. It's not a zoning ultimate anymore when it's in your hands, Axis. How were you able to make those huge high noons come out and make it be less of a zoning ult and really catch Nightshade off guard a lot?
I mean, that last one, I really got to give shout outs to Vertile. He was just sitting there spamming the wall down, and the whole time I'm just yelling at him, break wall, break wall. And literally at the last possible second it broke, and I was able to step out and get the whole thing. I mean, I really do have to shout out the rest of my team. They played fucking amazing.
Your team certainly wanted you to be able to show up. They enabled you, and you just did your job. Well-deserved celebration with their team.
Who taught you how to flank? Where did you learn? Was it just ranked? Did your team just say, yeah, go ahead? Because you are like on insane flanks all the way across the map, and your team is like capitalizing off of it.
I mean, lots of ranked, obviously, because whenever you get into solo queue, you got to do what you got to do to win. But yeah, a lot of the times I was calling flanks, and they were just like, we're going to push in. And I mean, it worked.
Wow. Really good communication. I think when you have a DPS player that's able to play that mechanically well and communicate to be able to let the team sync up that well, that's always going to be a deadly combination. You guys showed it. Credit to Nightshade. They gave you guys a bit of a tough time. They took a map, but you guys just dominated. Great play, Axis. I know you're going to go have a great night and celebrate with your team. You've deserved it. GG's, Axis, and GG's WVU.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to let Axis get back here with their team and celebrate, as we're going to just go over a few things because this is shaking some things up. Next Thursday, obviously, we're going to have next Thursday, I say tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST. We're going to have Havoc versus New Haven Varsity. Obviously, me and Boat Name won't be joining you because we're going to be in that game. You're going to have two talented casters here in our place. As always, really big game here tonight that I got to say it maybe just kind of keeps our power rankings a little bit where they are. Doesn't necessarily shake things up too much. It's maybe the expected result, but a huge map there for Nightshade. It is never easy to take a map off a team like WVU.
Yeah. I mean, WVU has been very strong, and in the standings, they're moving up. They're shaking things up, and they're at the top. They're
There
at the
they
top.
go. Wow. So despite the loss, they have map differential of 1. So that's how that's weighted. Right.
Got a loss for
So
worse, Jump. I mean, I'm honestly amazed as well, but
yeah,
don't forget, they played their match.
frankly,
We didn't. It's chill.
that's
Don't
true.
worry.
Listen, coming into this match, casting it, I knew I had to hold myself back. I knew I wasn't going to be able to stop the primal rage from coming out if I were to see WVU top us. So that this is going to be an exciting match tomorrow. Havoc versus New Haven Varsity. Obviously, me and Boatname are fired up going into that match, so it's going to be a good one, no doubt, as always. Thank you guys so much for checking this match out. We had a great game today, and make sure you guys tune in tomorrow because we're going to have that giveaway of the $41.30 Blizzard balance we got for hitting that follower goal. So make sure you guys follow because that's a free entrance into that giveaway we're going to be having tomorrow.